Okay, so this is the continuation on our topic on operating system types, features part 2, exercise 3, work with different file systems on digital literacy. So step 1, connect to PLB CentOS. So I'm already connected to PLB CentOS. On the desktop, right click and select Open Terminal. So I'm already connected to Open Terminal. Step 2, the terminal window is displayed. Type the following command, which is su. Okay, okay, so su space and enter, then password. Okay, enter. Okay, so step 3, clear the screen by entering the following command, which should be clear. Okay, so moving on to the next tip is to view the swap partition. Type the following command, which is swap1. Press enter. The size will be in KB. Notice that CentOS has roughly 2 gig of the swap partition. Okay, so as you can see, the size is 2 gig. Okay, so taskbar, view the swap file in the Windows 10. Windows do not contain a swap partition, but it contains a swap file which is known as page file. Page file sys. It serves the same purpose as the swap partition. You can store the page file sys its default location, create a new partition, and store the page file sys there are configured the page file sys to be stored on all partitions. To view the swap partition in Windows 10, perform the following steps. So step 1, connect to PLAB110. In the type in the type here to search text box, type the following command, which will be control panel. So let's just wait a little bit further for the PLAB Windows 2 load. Okay, so you can see it's already on. Okay. Okay, so moving on. Okay, so control panel is in the search results. This is please select this. Okay, so let's click control panel. The control panel window is displayed. Select system and security. Okay, so moving on to step 3. Click System from the System and Security windows. Okay, so step 4, the system windows is displayed. In the left pane, click the Advanced System Settings. Step 5, the System Properties dialog box is displayed on the Advanced tab. Click Settings in the Performance section. So step 6, the Performance option dialog box is displayed. Click the Advanced tab. And then click Change in the Virtual Memory section. Okay, on step 7, the Virtual Memory dialog box is displayed. Notice that the automatically manage paging file size for all drives is selected by default. When this option is selected, there is no manual intervention required to set the paging file size. Windows, depending on the RAM installed, configures the size of the page file file. If they select this option, then you should select a custom size and set the page file size on a single partition or multiple partitions hard drives. So close dialog box, all the open dialog box and windows. Okay, so let's close it. Okay, moving on to the next page. Exercise 4. Managing storage spaces. This management is a GUI-based Windows tool introduced in Windows XP and available in all later versions. This management helps create, format, and manage disk, both internal and external. You can use the disk management tool to create the attached hard disk, view and format various disks configured on the system. This is the storage space configured on the hard drives, and view the free space available. Windows also provide a storage spaces feature that helps create a pool of disk drives. This pool can then be used to provide data redundancy as well as the memory flexibility of the computer. In the exercise, you will explore and implement the various storage space management operations supported by both this management as well as the storage spaces features. So, learning outcomes. After completing this exercise, you will be able to initialize a disk, partition a dynamic disk, explore disk management, operations, reinitialize a disk, manage storage spaces. So your devices. You will be using the following devices in this lab, so please power this on now. So first one is PLABDC01, which is already powered on, and PLAB110, Windows 10 domain member. Okay, so it's already powered on as well. So task 1, initializing this. After adding a disk to a computer, you need to initialize the disk to make it discoverable by the OS. An initialized disk can then be partitioned as formatted to make it ready for storing data. The disk management tools enables you to bring this online to make them available for initialization. In the SAS, you will use the disk management tool to bring this online. So step 1, connect to PLV110. In the type here, the search box, the text box in the taskbar, type the following. So let's type disk management. Okay, so here's disk management. So step 2, the disk management window is displayed. So notice that the disk configured on the computer along with the relevant details are listed. This one is currently marked as online. So in the bottom pane, right click on the gray area under this one and select offline. Okay, so this one is now marked as offline. So step 4, to bring the disk online, right click in the gray area under this one. Notice that this one is now marked as online. So step 6, to partition and format the drives, the drives must be dynamic. To make this one dynamic, right click this one in the gray area and then select convert to dynamic look, dynamic disk rather. So step 7, the convert to dynamic disk dialog box is displayed. So ensure that this one checkbox is selected by default. So let's just click OK. Okay, so step 8, that is to convert dialog box is displayed. It displays this one for conversion. So click convert. And step 9, the disk management dialog box is displayed, listing the effects of converting the disk. So click yes to proceed with the conversion. In step 10, back on the disk management console, notice the healthy and primary partition status of this one now changes to healthy. This indicates that the disk is now dynamic and available for portioning and formatting. The dynamic disks are marked in different colors. So task 2, partition a dynamic disk. This management tool enables you to partition dynamic disks and create volumes in various formats. It provides GUI options to create disks in simple span, stripe, mirrored, and RAID level formats. In this task, you will use the disk management tool and format the disk to create a simple volume. So step 1, ensure that you ensure that PLEV10 is running and the disk management console is displayed. So right click the disk one and select delete. Okay, step 2, the delete simple volume dialog box is displayed. So let's just click yes. Okay, so step 3, notice that this one is now marked as unallocated. Okay, so step 4, right click this one and select new simple volume. Okay, step 5, the new simple volume wizard is displayed on the welcome to the new simple volume wizard page. Click next. Step 6, on the specify volume size page, accept the default settings and click next. Step 7, on the assign drive letter or path page, select assign the following drives letter checkbox. Step 8, on the format partition page, keep the format this volume with the following settings. Option selected in the volume labels text. Tap the following name. So let's just click next. Okay, so step 9. On completing the new simple volume wizard page, review the details and click finish. Step 10. Notice that a new simple volume has been created on this one and it has been labeled as data. So task 3. Explore disk management operations. The disk management tool supports management of operations such as listing properties of a selected disk, extending, shrinking a volume, changing the select or path assigned to a drive. In the task, you will explore these disk management operations available on the tool. So step 1, ensure that your PLE View 10 is running and the disk management console is displayed. So you will now view the properties of the data D. Drive to this, right click data D and select properties. Okay, so step 2, the data D properties dialog box is displayed, so buyer's task can be performed in this dialog box. For this task, you will not make any changes. Click cancel to close the dialog box. So step 3, you will now extend the volume of the data D drive. Again, right click the drive and select extend volume. Step 4, the extend volume wizard is displayed on the welcome to the extend volume wizard page. Click next. Okay, so in step 5, on the select this page, select this 2 from the available panel list and click add. And step 6, notice that the disk is now added in the selected list. In the select the amount of space in MB text box, type the following size. Excuse me. This specifies that the disk D is now to be extended by the 1 gig. Click next. Okay, on step 7 on the completing the extend volume wizard page, click finish. Okay, step 8, the disk management dialog box appears warning that the specified operation will convert the disk into a dynamic disk, which might complete the booting process of the machine. So let's just click yes. Okay, in step 9, not that the data D volume is now extended. Step 10, just as you extend the volume, you can shrink a volume as well. Right click the data D drive and select shrink volume. Okay, step 11, the shrink dialog box is displayed. Keep on the default values and click shrink. Step 12, notice that the data D is now shrunk. Task 4, reinitialize a disk. You might have to change the letter assigned to a drive. This might be required in case of an automatically assigned drive letter or while mapping a network drive to another computer. Disk management enables you to reinitialize drives by changing the letter assigned to it or by changing its path. In this task, you will use the disk management tool to reinitialize a drive. So step 1, ensure that PLAV110 is running and the disk management console is displayed. In the top pane, right click data D. Then select change driver letter and paths. Okay, so moving on to step 2. The change drive letter and paths dialog box is displayed. So let's just click change. Okay, on step 3, from the sign the following drive letter drop down list, select K. Then let's click OK. On the disk management dialog box, click yes. So task 5, the manage storage spaces. The storage spaces features enables you to create storage pool by grouping 2 or more drives into a storage pool. On this pool, you can configure virtual drives known as the storage spaces. By default, the storage spaces, there are 2 copies of every file saved, thereby providing redundancy and ensuring data availability. Moreover, you can use the storage space pool to provide for any additional storage space requirements on the computer. You can even add more drives to extend the pool capacity. In this task, you will create storage space using this tool on a computer. Okay, in step 1, ensure that you're connected to PLAB110. into this management window. Okay, so my bad. This window, repeat the steps 4 to 10, task 2 exercise 4 to delete existing partition for this 2. Minimize the disk management. Okay, so let's minimize it. Access the desktop. Okay, let's go type storage spaces. Let's see. Let's go access the desktop. Okay. And type here to search. Let's input storage spaces. Okay, so I've already inputted storage spaces, so let's click on the first one that appeared on the first icon. So step 3, the storage spaces windows is displayed. On the manage storage spaces page, select the create a new pool and storage space link. In step 4, on the select drives to create the storage pool page, select both of the drives and click create pool. Okay, on the manage storage page spaces page, select a create new pool and storage space link. Step 4, on the select drive, create a storage pool page, then both of the drives, then click create pool. Step 5, to create a storage space window is displayed on the enter name resiliency type, the size of the storage space page, include the following settings, set the resiliency, drop down, tap down this box to simple no resiliency. To change the maximum text box, change the size to 4 gig. Click create storage space. And step 6, back to manage storage spaces page. Storage spaces windows, notice, and this details. Okay, moving on to the next topic. Here on exercise 5. Troubleshoot Microsoft Windows issues. Troubleshooting an issue in a single or network system can be a difficult task. A problem can differ in size and nature, and therefore a resolution of each problem also differs. It can critic it is critical for the PC technician or technical support professional to use logical reasoning for arriving at the solution. This can mean that although a problem seems complicated, it may not long to resolve. For example, assume that the system on the network is not able to connect to the other systems on the network. It just sounds like a big problem. However, you can use the troubleshooting methodology to arrive at a solution. For example, you can see if other systems are facing the same problem. If not, it is easy for you to isolate this as a system-specific problem. From here onwards, you know that you may not have to look at network components but rather focus on the individual system, find the obvious cause, see if the system is receiving the IP address, is the network icon showing disconnection. If yes, then maybe you want to replace the network cable and then see if it works. Logically, troubleshooting can use six steps methodology. So number one is identify the problem. Number two is establish a theory of probable cause. You need to question the obvious. Number three, establish the theory. Test it. Test it. This will help you determine the cause. After the theory is proven, you need to establish a plan of action to resolve the problem. Finally, go ahead and implement the solution. After implementing the solution, ensure that you verify the system functionality. This is to check that your solution has not introduced any problem in the system. You should also implement preventive measures if possible to ensure that the same problem does not arise. So finally, you need to document the problem and solution. The document can always be used by other team members who face the same issues in other systems. The steps mentioned above the generic and can be applied in any troubleshooting scenario. In this exercise, you will learn about the various operating system applications and network issues. So, learning outcomes. After completing this exercise, you will be able to troubleshoot operating system issues, troubleshoot application issues, troubleshoot network issues, and your devices. This exercise contains supporting materials for troubleshooting microscope, Windows issues, troubleshooting operating system issues. Problem can arise in operating systems. The troubleshooting methodology can be applied to all operating systems to resolve a problem. In this task, you will learn to troubleshoot operating system issues that can arise, so slow performance. A system can slow down because of various reasons. One of the biggest reasons is malware, which starts to consume system resource without the user's knowledge. To resolve these issues, ensure that you have an anti-malware application installed and updated with the most recent updates. It is always good to scan the system on a regular basis. Most professional versions of anti-malware applications support scheduled scans which do not require user intervention. Another key reason for slow performance is there being too many applications running and consuming the system resources, such as CPU memory. Many, many applications run multiple processors in the background, which can add to this. Before installing an application, you should know how much resources the system has and install the application accordingly. A third major contributor to the slow performance can be a number of applications added to the system startup. When a system loads the operating system, the applications in startup also begin to. Many applications can cause system speed to decrease. An antivirus or anti-malware application is the most common application found in the startup. So this fragmentation can also impact system performance when this fragmentation occurs. The files are written and read from the non-contiguous clusters. This increases the time it takes to be able to resolve this issue. You should perform this defragmentation on regular basis. You can use the Windows Defrag application. Alternatively, you can use Smart Defrag or Defragler, which are third-party applications. So, blue screen of death, so in short BSOD. The blue screen of death, in short BSOD, is a blue screen error condition which occurs when Windows fails to boot due to a bad program, device driver, or a hardware component. When a BSOD occurs, you will find a stop code that can help you determine the root cause of the issue. When BSOD occurs, you should remember the last activity that you had performed. For instance, if you had installed a program or updated the device drivers, there is a high probability that the last change made by you has caused BSOD. To resolve BSOD, ensure that the drivers are updated. You should uninstall the recently updated driver if a BSOD occurs. After its installation, to uninstall the updated drivers, you should put the Windows in safe mode, which loads only basic device drivers such as BGA drivers. After you uninstall the device driver, you can perform a normal boot and test the system for PSOD. If the issue was due to a bad device driver, then the PSOD error should have been resolved. If you are not aware of PSOD reasons, try some of the common solutions. Number one is update the BIOS, and incompatible BIOS can cause PSOD. Number two is reset the hardware settings in the device manager. This would be required if you have made changes to the hardware settings which could have probably caused PSOD. So next is reset hardware devices such as memory modules, reset the cables such as data and power cables, reset the expansion cards such as the display or network adapters, test the hardware components such as memory and hard drive, replace the faulty hardware. So what's the slow boot up? Windows 10 can suffer from slow boot up, which can discourage you from restarting your system. You can try various methods to resolve this issue. Some of the key methods are as follows. So disable passboot. Passboot was designed to preload some of the boot information before a system was shut down. Its core intent was to reduce the boot up time. However, it can actually be a cause of slow boot up. Disabling fast boot up should be your first attempt to resolve this problem. So next one is there is a possibility that the fast boot up feature is not listed. This means that you do not have hibernation enabled. You need to first enable hibernation before disabling fast boot. To enable hibernation, you need to execute the following command in the Windows PowerShell admin window, which is power and hibernate. After enabling hibernation, you should now be able to disable fast boot up by deselecting the turn on fast startup recommend option, adjust virtual memory. After enabling hibernation, you should now be able to disable fast boot up, so selecting turn on fast boot startup recommended option, adjust virtual memory. To correct the slow boot up problem, you can adjust the virtual memory by default. All new installations of Windows manage the virtual memory. You can customize the virtual memory and set the minimum, maximum thresholds. Virtual memory is stored on the hard drive and is named page file sys. So after you make changes to the virtual memory, you will need to restart your system for change to take effect. Okay, disable startup programs. Many programs automatically add themselves to the Windows startup after they are installed. If you are facing the slow boot up issue, then you should also check the Windows startup programs. The fewer programs you have it startup, the faster your system boots. So next one is low profile load. You might face an issue of slow profile loading after signing into Windows. After the credentials are entered, the profile starts to load, but it takes long time, up to 7 to 10 minutes. There can be various reasons for this problem. The first problem could be that you have several network drives mapped when one or more servers are unavailable or unreachable. Then the profile with these drives map will attempt to reconnect to the map shares. If they are found, then the profile will load quickly. However, if they are unreachable, the profile will attempt to locate them, therefore causing the delay. The solution is to minimize the map network drives. If network drives are not mapped, but the profile is still taking a long time to load, it could be due to a corrupt user profile. In this page, you can create a new profile and see if the new profile also takes a long time. The new profile will likely load quickly. The solution is to migrate the data over the new profile and delete the old profile. Also, you should perform a quick check on the startup items. Minimize this to the essential startup items you need. You can use the misconfig utility to disable startup items. So restart device services. While running on the Windows, a service may stop responding. For example, for you have a web server installed on your system and you notice that the web server has become unresponsive. In this case, you can go to the service console and restart the web server service. Similarly, a few applications such as Apache Web Server required a service restart if any configuration changes are made. You need to invoke the services console and then select the services that you want to restart. If you need to restart multiple services, they must be restarted one by one. To restart the server, right-click and then select. Alternatively, you can click the rightmost green icon from the toolbar. So next one is Dynamic Reload OS. Reimage is the process of reloading the operating system by removing the existing one. The following scenarios may cause this to be necessary. Windows is corrupt and no longer booting up. There are too many problems. The system is severely infected with malware or ransomware. Okay, so in scenarios like these, it is best to back up your data and re-image the system. However, you may not be able to perform the backup in your system is infected with ransomware. Therefore, you should take regular backups and scenarios where the system is in a condition where you cannot take a new backup. You can always rely on a previous backup in Windows 10. You can use this utility by clicking the Backup and Restore Windows 7 option on the back restore your files though you need to click the Create a System Image link. So when you click the Create a System Image link, a wizard starts. It attempts to look for backup devices. It is If it does not find anything, then it automatically selects the DBT option. It will then guide you through steps to create a system image. So rollback updates. You might need to uninstall an update because it is causing a problem or not fully compatible with the you device you have. It could also be that an update causes programs to crash. To uninstall an update, you need to open Control Panel, select Programs and Features, and then click Install. Listed on the Uninstall an Update. When you select an update, the Uninstall button appears on the bar above the column heading. Click Uninstall to proceed with the uninstallation. Some updates will require you to reboot the system for the uninstallation to take effect. So to safe modes. There will be times when the operating system is corrupt, does not boot properly. You can attempt to boot the operating system safe mode. Other than that safe mode, you have the option to boot using the last known good configuration, so service fails to start. After an application is installed, it may not work properly because its service failed to start. If the service does not start, the application will also fail to start. There could be various reasons for services fail. Some of the key reasons are a dependency service is not started or has failed to start. Second one is a required patch or installer is missing in those systems. Third one is there is a conflict between the failed service and another service. The last one is the installed applications is incompatible with the operating system. So for instance, if you have an application that is using port 80 and you install a web server which by default will use port 80, the latter will fail to start. Its web service will not start because it is conflicting with the other services using the same port. The solution in this scenario is to use a different port for the web server. Next one is defragment the hard drive. As a user, you continue to add the delete files on your system with the continuous additions to the hard drive. Becomes fragmented, different locations in the hard drive are filled with the files and then you delete a file. Its location is free when a large file is copied create on a system. It looks for continuous free space but it is not available. Different locations on the hard drive is used to copy the file. This leads to increased writing time when you have to retrieve the hard drive. The pieces of the files are retrieved from the different locations and put together over time. This gathering of pieces increases and causes the retrieval to slow down. The solution to this problem is to defrag the drive. Windows has a built-in utility called Optimize Drives. The utility is designed to run weekly, however, you can run it manually as and when required. When you run this utility, it puts the scattered pieces of a file in a continuous form so that the retrieval is much faster. This also affects the write time eventually. The data transfer rate is increased. You can also use third-party tools such as Smart Defrag. The basic version of this tool is free and be free can be installed on Windows 10. So Smart Defrag has far too many options for optimizing hard drives. Then the optimized drives does kill tasks. You can kill processes using the task manager on the Windows 10. Processes in the task manager are grouped into three categories on the process labs. Apps backgrounds, processes, Windows processes. You need to kill a process can arise due to a various reasons. One of the key reasons is that one or more processes starts to consume system restore resources, which has result impact system performance. To ensure that the system runs with the optimal performance, you need to kill the process that is consuming the system resources. So there are two methods of killing process. Select a process, right click and then select end task. Select the process and then click end task. Both methods provide the same result. Apply updates. Developers of applications and operating systems keep rolling out updates. These updates are meant to fix functionality issues, close security loopholes, or add new features. Windows is Windows in specific use Windows Update to roll out updates to use to the client and server operating system. Each window operating system has the capability to connect with the Windows Update website and download update directly. Alternatively, each window system can be updated manually. However, consider a scenario in which you have around 500 desktops and 25 servers in an organization. There are only possibilities. Each system server is configured to download the updates directly from the app Windows Update website. The issue with this method is that each system and server will be downloaded from the internet, which will be the time of bandwidth consuming. You would not know whether the system is updated or not. Also, in this method, no testing of updates has been done. An update may end up causing a problem for one or more systems or servers. The system administrator downloads and installs on each system and server manually. Even if the system administrator tests the update, it is time consuming. So the system administrator uses an internal Windows software update service server to download updates on a central location, test the updates, and then distribute them to the respective systems and servers. The system administrator is also able to generate the report of updates being installed. In this method. A one-time download takes place, which means bandwidth and time are saved. Updates are rolled out when systems are available on the network. So troubleshoot application issues. Each system runs several applications. These applications can suffer from different types of issues. In this task, you will learn about the troubleshooting different types of issues. Application crashes. They can be several reasons for application to crash. Some of the most common reasons are there are bugs in the applications when the user attempts to use a feature that has bugs. The application will generate an error. A new update has caused the application to crash. The newly released update has bugs or it is not getting integrated with the application, which then causes the applications to crash. An application crash can also occur due to a shortage of system resource. When users are connected to the application, it increases its resource requirement. If this is not met, the application starts to generate errors. Other reasons can include error handling, poor memory management, very little or no testing, or scalability issues. Different applications can have one or more problems. So repair application. In Windows 10, you can repair an application using two different methods. There are two types of applications: Windows apps available through Windows Store and applications that are from a Windows vendor. You will look at the possibility of repairing both. For Windows apps, in the apps and features windows, you can reset the apps. To do this, select an app and click Advanced Options under the app name. Then on the app page, you have multiple options. You can repair the app, reset the app, and uninstall the app. Uninstall the app. Time repair option will try to fix the issues in the application. Reset will revert to the default settings of the app and uninstall and uninstall the app along with the settings from the system. It is important to note that this is applicable only for the Windows apps that are available through the Windows Store. So for third-party applications such as WiseCare do not have the advanced options link. You cannot repair the reset the application, but you can uninstall. To uninstall the application and then reinstall it manually, you could use a third-party tool such as IOBit uninstaller. Disable Windows Services applications. A good practice to implement is to run only to require services on your system. One of the key reasons for this is that the running services can have security loopholes. and then the service is running on the system of an attacker can exploit the security loophole. Also, running too many services on the system can impact the overall system performance. Each service consumes system resources and therefore it is not required. You should not run it. First, you should figure out which services need to be disabled. After that, you need to disable these services one by one. To disable services, open the services console, double click the services name, the properties dialog box for the service will be displayed on the general tab. Select the startup type to disable. After you apply the settings, the service will not start when you put up the system. So it is important to note that if the service was already running and you have changed the startup type to disable the service in the current session will continue to run, you will need to stop the servants manually after you put your system the service will run. So disable application startup. As stated earlier in the module, too many applications in weather startup can cause slowness in the system boot up and profiles. Loading when there are applications in the startup windows attempts to load those applications that are marked as enabled. To manage this, you need to open the Task Manager and navigate to the Startup tab. You will notice that the several applications are marked as enabled. After after installation, some of the applications automatically set themselves to start with the system. Boot up a user is typically unaware of this scenario. Some of the key applications such as real-time HD audio, you should not disable an audio may not work on your system. To disable an application, select the applications on the Startup tab and then click the Disable button. Alternatively, right-click on the application name and select Disable. From the context menu, after performing this step, you will notice that the application status is changed to disable. If you need to enable application, then select the application and click enable button. Alternatively, select and disable the application. Right click and select enable from the context menu. Troubleshoot network issues. System can suffer from different types of network issues. In this task, you will go through several types of network issues and understand the common causes and their resolution. Limited connectivity. For a system to interact with the other systems on the network, it needs to have network connectivity. If there is a limited no connectivity, this system will not be able to connect with the other systems. The connectivity issues could be due to a misconfiguration, a hardware fault, or a broken path between the system. Let's look at some of the common methods used to resolve the limited or no connectivity issues. First method is reboot the system. Rebooting can help significantly scenarios where this network service is in hang or there is a temporary configuration issue. So reboot the router if this problem is faced by several systems on the network. It is a single system problem. Then you should check if the system is getting the IP address from the DCP IP address server. Check the internet cable if your system is connected to the network. With it, there will be a high probability that the Ethernet cable is faulty. Try replacing it with another Ethernet cable and then verify the connectivity. The network adapter may be may be an issue. Try updating its device drivers an updated device driver can break the connectivity. The system may not be able to connect to the wireless router first. You should check the security key is correct. If it is, then remove the existing connection and create new one. Connectivity. Okay, so the network adapter may be an issue. Try updating its device drivers. An updated device driver can break the connectivity. May not be able to connect the wireless router first. You should check out the security key. Correct is removed. Then remove the existing connection and create a new one. The security key is correct when it's not able to connect to the wireless router. This problem indicates that the network administrator might have put restrictions or not just giving you access to the wireless router. The MAC address and the network adapter is not bound on the wireless router. And therefore, you may not be able to connect. You might not be getting up the IP, DHCP server. Check out the DHCP survey IP pool. Most likely, the IP pool is pulled up. Therefore, the DHIP server is able to list IP address. There may be a DNS problem if you can connect to the systems on the network, but they are not able to access the website with their names. This indicates that a DNS problem verifies that your system has an appropriate DNS. So this is the last one, internet connectivity issue. Just like other systems problems, internet connectivity problems can also vary. From examples, you are not able to browse the internet by using website names. However, you are able to browse them using their IP address. This problem indicates that the DNS server is either down, your system has an incorrect DNS, or it is not able to communicate with the DNS server. If you are not able to connect with a system or a website on the internet, you should attempt to ping it. The ping in first an infernal system or website might send the response if they are up and running. It is a slight possibility that even if the internet website is up and running, the command does not get the road. This could be due to a firewall which blocks the ping command. It is the ping command goes to but fails the try paging another website. If you get a response, you can conclude the first website has issue. Try to ping browse the first website from another system on the network. If you get the response and are able to browse, then this is your problem. This is your it is a problem with your system. If any users in an organization are able to browse the internet, check for the following: a proxy server for the managing connections to the internet. So second one is DNS server for the name resolution. Then the third one is gateway for sending out the traffic. The resolution will differ when the problem is being faced by one user versus several users. If it is one user, then the problem is most likely to be in the user system. If faced by several users, then the problem is likely to be at the network level. Okay, so let's continue with our topic on exercise 6, learning to troubleshoot. Many different problems could arise when using a computer system. Troubleshooting options provide tools to resolve them. You can you can use these tools for installed programs, hardware and sound, network and internet, system and security. In this exercise, you will learn to troubleshoot various components' learning outcomes. After completing this exercise, you will be able to work with the troubleshooting options. So your devices, you will be using the following devices in this lab. So please power on this now, which is PLB 110. Okay, let's power on PLB 110. Okay, so it's already powered on. So task 1, work with the troubleshooting option. Windows 10 provides the troubleshooting utility that can use to troubleshoot issues that may occur in this task. You will learn to work with the troubleshooting options. So step 1, connect to PLB110 in the type here to search bugs, type the following command. Okay, so let's paste. Okay, so pardon my mistakes. Let's just try to input it manually. Okay, so here's control panel. Select control panel from the search result. So step 2, in the upper right corner, click the category drop down and select small icons. Okay, so moving on to step 3. Notice that the layout of control panel changes. Click the troubleshooting link. Okay, on step 4, in the system and security section, click run and maintenance tasks. Step 5, the system maintenance wizard is displayed. On the troubleshoot to help prevent the computer's problems page, click next. On step 6, on the troubleshooting has completed page, notice that no changes or updates are necessary. Click close the troubleshooter. On step 7, you are back to the troubleshooting window in the system and security section. Click the improve power usage link. Okay, so step 8, the power wizard is displayed on the power page. Click next. Step 9, the wizard attempts to detect issues. Okay, step 10, on the troubleshooting has completed page, notice that it had detected an issue which is also now fixed. Okay, so click close to the troubleshooter. Step 11, click control panel home. You should now be on control panel window with this window open. So close the control panel. Okay, so that's all. Thank you very much.